So my friend's like, hey, I'm enjoying your videos, but you need to be more dynamic, like with your hands. And I said, what do you mean? He says, well, just use your hands more like Father Mike. And I said, okay, fine. The next time I do a video, I will use my hands more, even if it has absolutely nothing to do with what it is that I am talking about. So enjoy. Hey, this is Bobby Angel with Ascension Presents. I want to talk to you today about not identifying with your job. Now, this is really for guys or girls, but I think for men especially, there's a temptation to identify ourselves with our work, our job, that we become our job. Like that becomes our identity, which isn't always a great thing. When we usually introduce ourselves to someone else, we'll say, hi, I'm so-and-so, what do you do? The first thing out of our mouth sometimes is, what do you do? As if what your work is identified with your worth, or this is the most valuable thing about you, or this is the core of who you are. What do you do? Now, it's a great thing to work. It is a noble thing. It's a God-given thing to provide, to till the soil, to, again, provide for our families. The problem is that, again, you are more than that. You are more than just your work. What happens if you get an injury? What happens if your body shuts down or you get laid off? Who are you then? And a lot of people will go through some kind of crisis, some kind of more than just I lost my job. It's who am I without this job now? If an athlete gets injured and they've devoted their entire life to a said sport, then it's crushing. It's like, who am I if I'm not a soccer player or a football player? And that can be the same thing with your work. Who are you outside of your work? Another problem with identifying with your work is sometimes your job may not be the manliest job, and we have these stereotypical manly jobs like, architecture, lumberjack, anything that wears flannel. And if you're not that, it's like, is my job worth as much? And it's really, again, what are you bringing to the table? Because you are more than just your 9 to 5 or however many hours you're putting in. It's scary to strip off that identity, but in that we rest in who we really are. My grandfather was a guy in New York who would work 3 jobs at any given time to help put his family through Catholic education. He was a firefighter. He would be a limo driver. He'd be a hearse driver, usually the same vehicle back in the day. Don't know if they would clean it out. That's neither here nor there. He told me once that, listen, jobs come and go. Invest in your family. When I was in the throes of vocation discernment and wondering what God had for me, he told me, listen, jobs will come and go. Invest in your family. Now, especially for we of faith, we believe that, yeah, our work is important, but our identity rests in so much more underneath. In Colossians, it says, you were raised with Christ. And in John 1, it says, you have become children of God. In Ephesians, we have adoption through the sonship of Christ. We have been adopted into the divine sonship. And in Jeremiah, it says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. It's not your worth is your work. And with a utilitarian, like, I'm only valuable if I'm useful, especially if you're of old age or if you're, again, your health is declining and you can't work as you once did, that can be really an attack on your identity. You need to be careful and watch out for that, especially if the evil one comes in or you're hearing that live. Like, I'm only valuable if I can work. I'm only valuable if I'm useful. And you're not. St. John Paul II was a man of such vigor and energy and strength. And when he was an athlete, he was a skier. And when his body was failing with Parkinson's, and you could tell like he just couldn't be as active as he wanted to, or he couldn't work in the way he used to, he offered that up. He offered that sacrifice up, and knowing that I'm a beloved son of the Father, like that is who I am first. Jobs come and go, my health may come and go, and who I am underneath is so much more than just my work. So absolutely get on it, hustle, provide, work hard for your family, bring your passion to your work. It's not necessarily you're always going to be passionate like with your job. There's days where it's a job and days you've got to will the effort, and you may be in a time of life where this is a transitory job. This is not maybe a career for you. I'm just doing this to pay through college loans or debt or, you're just in a season where I'm taking what I can, but bring that passion to your work and know that you are more than just this job. Don't identify with that. Rest in the love of the Father who loves you for you, not for what you provide or how useful you are. Thank you for watching. I hope these are blessing you. From all of us at Ascension Presents, God bless.